The dress was hanging in my closet, a vision of white lace and dreams I'd carefully chosen. Tomorrow was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. Mark, my fiancé of 3 years, the man I thought was my soulmate, would be standing at the altar. Our families were flying in, the venue was set, and every detail meticulously planned. But tonight, the eve of our wedding, the silence in our apartment felt heavy, a stark contrast to the joyful anticipation I should have been feeling. My name is Emily, and at 29, I thought I had it all figured out. Mark was everything I thought I wanted, kind, funny, and seemingly devoted. We'd built a comfortable life together, and I couldn't wait to become his wife. My younger sister, Sarah, was my maid of honor, my closest confidant. We'd shared everything growing up, or so I believed. The first sign that something was terribly wrong was a text message. It wasn't for me, it popped up on Mark's old tablet, which he'd left charging in the living room. Just a simple notification from Sarah, "Can't wait for tomorrow," winky face. It struck me as odd. Sarah was excited, of course, but the wink felt intimate. I tried to shake it off, attributing it to pre-wedding jitters and sisterly excitement. But then, I couldn't sleep. A knot of unease had tightened in my stomach. I got up, telling myself I just needed some water. As I walked past Mark's study, the door was slightly ajar. A sliver of light spilled into the hallway, and I heard hushed voices. Mark's, Anne. Sarah's. I pressed my ear against the door, my heart pounding. The words that drifted through the thin wood shattered my world. Whispers of love, of secret meetings, of how they couldn't deny their feelings any longer. They talked about leaving, about starting a new life together, away from me, away from the wedding. The tomorrow Sarah was so eager for wasn't my wedding day, it was their escape. The floor seemed to tilt beneath me. The carefully constructed reality I lived in crumbled into a million pieces. My fiancé, the man I was supposed to marry in a few hours, was in love with my sister. And they were planning to run away together on what was supposed to be our wedding day. The initial shock gave way to a cold, hard fury. Betrayal by one person is devastating. Betrayal by two of the people closest to you is a pain I can't even describe. I didn't confront them then. I retreated, my mind racing, trying to process the enormity of what I'd just overheard. The next morning, the house was a flurry of activity. My parents arrived, excited and beaming. Sarah acted as if nothing was amiss, offering me nervous smiles and last-minute help. Mark was his usual self, a little stressed but seemingly eager for our big day. I moved through the motions like a ghost, a storm raging inside me while I presented a calm facade. The ceremony was scheduled for the afternoon. As the hours ticked by, I formulated a plan. It wasn't born out of rage, but a quiet determination to not let their deceit define me. When it was almost time to leave for the venue, I gathered my parents and a few close friends who were staying with us. I told them what I'd overheard the night before. The shock on their faces mirrored my own initial disbelief, quickly turning to anger and support. "What are you going to do, honey?" my mom asked, tears welling in her eyes. I took a deep breath. "I'm still going to the venue." Confusion rippled through the room. "But Mark won't be marrying me today," I said calmly. "But there will be a gathering." At the venue, guests were starting to arrive, buzzing with anticipation. Sarah kept glancing at me, a nervous energy radiating off her. Mark was nowhere to be seen. As the scheduled start time approached, my parents made an announcement, explaining that there had been an unforeseen change of plans. Then, I stepped forward. I didn't break down. I didn't scream. I spoke clearly and calmly, telling everyone the truth. About Mark and Sarah, about their secret, about their plans to leave. The room fell silent, a wave of shock rippling through the guests. But that wasn't the end of my announcement. I explained that while the wedding wasn't happening, I still wanted to celebrate. Celebrate the love and support of my family and true friends. I had arranged for food, drinks, and music. It would be a party, a freedom party, as I declared, to mark the beginning of my new chapter, free from lies and betrayal. Mark and Sarah never showed up. They had already made their escape. But what they left behind wasn't a scene of devastation, but a gathering of love and solidarity. My friends and family rallied around me, offering comfort and unwavering support. In the weeks and months that followed, I focused on myself. I poured my energy into my work, reconnected with old friends, and discovered new passions. The pain of their betrayal was still there, a dull ache, but it no longer defined me. Years later, I heard through mutual acquaintances that Mark and Sarah's fairy tale had crumbled. The foundation of their relationship, built on deceit, was too fragile to last. They eventually went their separate ways, carrying the weight of their actions. As for me, I healed. I moved on. And one day, I found a love that was honest, true, and built on a foundation of trust. My wedding day may not have been the one I originally planned, but the day I celebrated my freedom from betrayal was the day I truly began to live. Sometimes, the most devastating endings lead to the most unexpected and empowering new beginnings.